It has finally happened. The Boston Bruins have selected their new head coach who will reign under Cam Neely and Don Sweeney, and that name is Marco Sturm. He has officially been announced as the next Bruins head coach, and we have a lot to talk about his upcoming tenure. The announcement made today, we're going to have many videos coming out about this, breaking it down, going over the real reasons, the truth behind it, but right now, we have some things to discuss about why he is named the Bruins head coach over other candidates. Ladies and gentlemen, the wait is over. We finally have it done, and Marco Sturm, the guy that most of us, I think we can say, have been waiting for, is officially the Bruins head coach. Now, before we jump into all of this, be sure to hit the sub button if you haven't already. We are on the road to 7K, and your guys' support has been absolutely incredible as of late. And we know that just over 70% of you guys watching right now are not subscribed to the channel. But let's get into this, first of all, with the announcement from the Boston Bruins themselves. Marco Sturm is coming home. Marco Sturm has officially been named the 30th head coach in Bruins history. And, I don't want to point it out too much, but it certainly is the multiple in over the past few years. Third in about, 4 or 5 years, which is not a great tenure. But, Marco Sturm is one that I think we can all believe in. All we've been waiting for is a guy like Marco Sturm. Now, Marco Sturm, I'm sure you guys, if you're not brand new here, have watched many of the Marco Sturm videos I've made, because we've had enough time to go over quite a bit of it. But Marco Sturm was one of the very interesting candidates for one reason: his development of the Ontario Reign. A guy from playing in Boston in his NHL career, coaching at the international level, does certainly seem like the perfect fit for the Bruins. Now, what mattered also was if he was able to do that, if he was able to coach at a high level. And this is his first NHL head coaching job, but he has shown in his NHL career, his coaching career, that he's capable of handling a team when needed. Now, looking at Marco Sturm, of course, you see here, never had the playoff success with the Ontario Reign, but when you're looking at the record, when you're looking at mainly as well who he developed on those teams that are now on the LA Kings, that is the reason that he is this coach for the Boston Bruins team. You look at guys like Quentin Byfield, Brent Clark, Alex Turcotte, Arthur Kaliev, all of those very young, talented prospects that the LA Kings had were under Marco Sturm, and he developed them into superstars in the NHL, and it's only earlier in their careers, and we're already starting to see how big of an impact they're having on that team with the LA Kings. So, doing this, you see the record in the AHL, that's totally fine. The record is something that the Bruins are going to want, but the development to something that is a seriously hidden factor with Marco Sturm. And you see the 4 years as well with the LA Kings as an assistant coach with that 2018 to 2022 team before going down to the AHL and becoming their head coach. He has had the experience that everybody is looking for as a head coach. You get on these LA Kings teams, which are veteran teams. He's been able to be on a team that has the veterans that necessarily didn't go on playoff runs, but were talented teams. Then they go to the Ontario Reign, get that team, develop the young kids, and turn them into future stars for the LA Kings. He has had every asset the Kings are looking for, and now is going to translate that to the Boston Bruins, which is something that we can finally say, hopefully, at least I don't want to get it too ahead of myself, that the prospects that the Bruins have acquired, the young talents that they have acquired at this deadline, that the vast, that they have in the system already, will be developed properly, which is something we have not yet seen, and I will jump onto that here later in the video, so be sure to stick around, but I want to pull it up this up as well. This is the current, or I guess we could say the current, as of about an hour ago, coaching staff for the Boston Bruins. Now, we do not know yet if Marco Sturm is bringing in his own crew, if the crew is going to be selected from Don Sweeney and Cam Neely, if we're even going to see maybe Chris Kelly, Jay Leach back as assistants. We know that Joe Sacco is not coming back. That is one thing for sure. He's not coming back as an assistant, as anything. But Chris Kelly, Jay Leach, they were, Jay Leach mainly, but he was in the consideration for the head coaching run. Will he be the assistant? We're yet to find out. We're going to get that news over the next day or so, I would assume, or over the next few days, when we really do kind of get underway with Marco Sturm as the head coach. But I'm curious to see, and I want to get your guys' opinion as well. If any, what do you guys want to see change here on this coaching staff? Of course, take out Joe Sacco, put Marco Sturm in there. But do you want to see Chris Kelly, Jay Leach back? Bob Eston said, you want to see him back as the goalie coach. I think there's a lot of possibilities of movement here, but we're in a pretty good spot now where I like the rest of our staff. I do. But some changes could be made. So I want to get your guys' opinion on that as well to kind of get the the overlook of how we're feeling about this coaching staff currently with Marco Sturm. Now, I want to pull it up as well. Scott McLaughlin tweeted out, introductory press conference date and time is to be determined. We do not know yet. I would assume it may be sometime early next week. I don't think it would be, tomorrow or anything, as today's Thursday. It's not going to be over the weekend. I would assume probably early next week, maybe very, very late on the week, next week, Friday perhaps, but that's something we're going to try and go live for. We're going to see about that. We're going to watch it here on the channel, or go over it at least for sure. So be sure to, once again, stick around for that. We got a lot of Marco Sturm news coming, ladies and gentlemen, but, one more thing as well. The prospects. I think that's the big thing that Marco Sturm was really hired for, and we will jump into a deeper dive later on in another video, maybe later today, maybe tomorrow. I'm not really sure yet. I got a lot of videos scheduled, but when we go and look at these young players that the Bruins have, and this is just off points in the system, so, there's going to be a few names missing here, but when you go, recently acquired Will Zellers, the absolute talent of a goal scorer, Dan Zochmelis, Matt Poitras, Fabian Lysell. Georgi Merkulov is not necessarily on this list. He's a little over 23, but still, he's considered one of these young players the Bruins have. Fraser Minton down at the bottom. There's so many that are on this list. I literally couldn't fit them all into one graphic, but these are the players of the future for the Boston Bruins. And of course, there's going to be moves made, in free agency, via trade, whatnot. Maybe some of these guys go, maybe some new ones come in. But the way that this coaching decision was made, I thoroughly think this, and I would like to see this confirmed at some point to make it really kind of make my mind settle, but it feels like Marco Sturm was brought in to make sure that the talent that they have in Dan Zochmelis, Will Zellers, Matt Poitras, Fabian Lysell, I could name many, many more. Dean Letourneau is another interesting one as well that we haven't spoken about too much as of late, who had a very, very bad season, but these are the guys that we're going to see be the future of this Bruins team, and Marco Sturm is going to be the one to develop these, at least hopefully. Some of these guys are very young, so it may take more than a couple years to get into the NHL, but guys like Fraser Minton, that's the one that they acquired last year, looking to make this team next year, and I think that is a very possible option. So Marco Sturm is the one to really bring these guys in, really show them the road, and the route to the NHL team, and that's something we have not been able to see with a Bruins coach for a little while. Jim Montgomery was certainly a bit of a different kind of coach. He was more of a mid-age to veteran coach. We didn't really see him do too much with the younger players. Joe Sacco is kind of a mix. He didn't really do much at the beginning of his tenure as head coach. I think a lot of that was due to the facade of the Sweeney regime, I guess you could say, standing behind him and making these moves and not letting him really kind of take control of this team. But now with Marco Sturm, they're going to hire him for that reason. I think that there's going to be a lot of development with some of these younger players and have it work out well. We've been waiting for it, and I think we're going to see a much different look next year for this team. So let me know, ladies and gentlemen, what you think about this signing. I think I can say it's all exactly what we wanted. I feel like there's a few mixes here that could have been someone else. Someone else was thrown in here. Pete DeBoer was on the table, it seeming like. But right now, the Bruins were the last team to get their head coach. They got their guy. They didn't really have to wait. But Marco Sturm seems to be the one that they wanted. It's the one that I certainly wanted. I want to know, is it the one that you guys wanted? So that's all I got in this video. But remember, be sure to hit the sub button, because I have a lot more videos coming out on Marco Sturm. We're going to have one likely later today. I think is pretty confident in saying we have another video about a possible trade going down that would once again really, really impact the Marco Sturm head coaching possibility here. And we got a lot to cover. So, that's all I got, though, in this video. If you did enjoy, give it a like, hit the sub button. I'm signing out. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.